My dear students, now we are going to discuss the another topic on axisymmetric element, that is the derivation of shape functions for axisymmetric triangular element. Now we are deriving the shape functions for a triangular element, but it is an axisymmetric. Okay. Earlier, what type of shape functions we derive? Same type of relations we will get, but the basic difference is the instead of xy plane, now we will get the rz plane. That is the basic difference. Entire thing is the same only. Okay. Here also, suppose I taken a frustum of a cone type of solid object, hollow cone type of solid object. In this particular case, I selected a one simple triangle element, node 1, node 2, node 3. This is the axial direction, that is the z axis. This is the radial direction, that is the r axis. With respect to these two axes, its coordinate points are the r1 z1 at node 1, r2 z2 at node 2, r3 z3 at node 3, and its deformations in radial and axial directions are u1 in radial direction and w1 in axial direction. Okay, and u2 w2 in radial and axial directions respectively, and u3 and w3 are the deformations in radial and axial directions respectively. Okay, now here now now first of all we have to take a one suitable polynomial equation for this particular triangular element. Unfortunately, in CAM scanner, this one is not printed properly, but I will read carefully. All of you try to understand. But this one is good in my material. Already that one is available in WhatsApp. So go through that one. Okay, we have to write a suitable polynomial equation in radial and axial directions. That is, in two directions are there, 2 degrees of freedom element. That's why here 3 nodal points and 2 degrees of freedom, 3 to the 6. We will get the 6 number of polynomial coefficients. The 6 number with the help of polynomial coefficients we will derive the shape function. Suppose the deformation in a radial direction u of r comma z is equal to, we can write a polynomial equation as the alpha naught, a naught plus a1r plus a2z, radial direction and axial direction. Okay. Next, in the same manner, w r of z is equal to deformation a3 plus a4r plus a5z. Okay. This is a naught to a5 are the polynomial coefficients. You know that thing. That is at node 1, that is at node 1 coordinates r1 and z1, its deformation u is the u1 and w is the w1. Already I explained in the diagram initially. That is, if you observe this particular diagram, at node 1 r1 w, the deformations are the u1 and w1, and remaining things also I explained. The same thing I wrote here, that boundary conditions. That is at node 2 r2, that is r2 and z2, its deformation are the u2 and w2. At node 3 r3 and z3, its deformations are the u3 and w3. Substitute these particular boundary conditions or displacement values in the above equations. If you write that one, u1 is equal to a0 plus a1r1 plus a2 z1, u2 is equal to a0 plus a1r2 plus a2 z2, u3 is equal to a0 plus a1r3 plus a2 z3. These three are the one set of equations. Then next I will write that another set of equation with respect to the axial direction. These three are the radial direction based on the boundary conditions. Now w1 is equal to a3 plus a4r1 plus a5 z1 at node 1. w2 is equal to at node 2 a3 plus a4r2 plus a5 z2. W3 is equal to A3 plus A4 R3 plus A5 Z3. First of all, we will derive the shape function for radial direction. Later, we will think about the axial direction. Okay. Now, here these three set of equations for easy derivation purpose, I will write in the form of matrix, that is U1, U2, U3 is equal to 1 R1 Z1, 1 R2 Z2, 1 R3 Z3 into A0, A1, A2. Okay, for easy purpose only I wrote in the form of matrix. Next here, this A0, A1, A2 is equal to, bring this particular term this side, that is a 3 by 3 matrix inverse into U1, U2, U3. That is simply I write that is A matrix is equal to D inverse into U. This is the D is the 3 by 3 matrix. For obtaining of that inverse matrix, I think you know that one, D inverse is equal to C transpose divided by determinant of D, where C is the cofactor matrix. We call this one as a cofactor matrix. That is, we will take somewhat the factor of the first matrix. That's why we call this one as a cofactor matrix. A transpose into divided by determinant of D. I think you know that the determinant of D. Determinant of D is equal to determinant of this matrix 1 R1 Z1. Determinant of 1 R1 Z1, 1 R2 Z2, 1 R3 Z3. Expand this determinant 1 into R2 Z3 minus Z2 R3. Next, second term minus R1 into here 1 into Z3 minus 1 into Z2. Next, plus Z1 into here R3 minus R2. Okay, so this one is equal to the 2 times of our area of the triangle element. That is equal to the 2 times of our area of the triangle element. That's why simply I wrote that one as the 2a. Determinant of D is equal to, we got the 2a value. Next, now we will calculate the cofactor. Cofactor matrix C is equal to, we will write that one as simply C11, C12, C13, C21, C22, C23, C31, C32, C33. Cofactor matrix is equal, generally we will multiply the minus of whole to the power of I plus j determinant of dm. Here which one? C11, we require the C11 minus of C11, 1 plus 1 1, minus of minus whole to the power of 2 is equal to plus 1, determinant of that particular one only, C11 first term. అంటే here that means ఇక్కడ ఇందాక ముందు ఉన్నటువంటి మ్యాట్రిక్స్ లో ఈ 1 ఇక్కడ ఉంది కదా 1 ఇది ఇంటూ సపోజ్ నో you multiply these two minus this one. Okay, that is the cofactor matrix C11. So R2 Z3 minus Z3 R2. Okay, next C12. Here this one is the C12. C12 is equal to, here next one is the C12 is equal to, here simply this is the one is there, you neglect these two and remaining is the, you take the cross multiplication Z3 minus Z2 cross multiply. This is the 1 into Z3 minus Z2. But here minus 1 C12 అంటే minus 1 whole to the power of 1 plus 2 3 minus 1 whole to the power of 3 is equal to minus 1 minus 1 into Z3 minus Z2. Okay, that's why simply I wrote this one as the Z2 minus Z3. Okay, next in the same manner this is C13, that is just eliminate this one and this one, the remaining is the R3 minus R2, R3 minus R2 and so on. You write this entire cofactor matrix, that one we require the transpose, not that same matrix, transpose. That's why simply transpose means అంటే నిలువు అడ్డంగాను అడ్డమే నిలువుగాను రాసేయండి అయ్యా బాబు, సరిపోద్ది, అదే ట్రాన్స్పోజ్ అంటే, అంతే కదా. సో హియర్ ట్రాన్స్పోజ్ మీన్స్ just I wrote horizontal rows into the vertical rows into the horizontal. So I wrote this is the vertical is there, I wrote here horizontal, vertical, horizontal. Okay, C transpose we got. Now substitute this particular relation in the previous equation. A naught A1 A2 is equal to D inverse, that is 1 by 2A into this particular matrix into U1 U2 U3. Now for writing entire these things, I will let us assume this R2 Z3 minus R3 Z2 is equal to alpha 1 and R3 Z1 minus R1 Z3 is equal to alpha 2 and R1 Z2 minus R2 Z1 is equal to alpha 3, Z2 minus Z3 is equal to beta 1, Z3 minus Z1 is equal to beta 2, Z1 minus Z2 is equal to beta 3, and here R3 minus R2 is equal to gamma 1, and so on. Here, now I wrote this particular simplification matrix. Now A is equal to, we got this particular one. Actually, the initial matrix U is equal to, we wrote that one as the A naught plus A1R plus A1R plus A2Z is there. That one also, if you write in the form of matrix 1RZ into A naught A1 A2. A naught A1 A2 are the polynomial coefficients. Now you substitute that coefficient values. We calculated that coefficient values. Now you substitute that coefficients. If you substitute that coefficients 1RZ into 1 by 2A, alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha 3, beta 1, beta 2, beta 3, gamma 1, gamma 2, gamma 3 into U1, U2, U3, and you take the multiplication. If you take the multiplication, we will get alpha 1 plus beta 1R plus gamma 1Z by 2A, alpha 2 plus beta 2R plus gamma 2Z by 2A, alpha 3 plus beta 3R plus gamma 3Z by 2A into U1, U2, U3. Here it is in the form of N1, N2, N3, U1, U2, U3. That is the N1, U1 plus N2, U2 plus N3, U3. What is the N1, N2, N3? N1, N2, N3 are the shape functions in radial directions. In the same manner, if you derive the for second set of equations for axial direction deformations or displacements W, definitely we will get the same type of relation that done as the W is equal to N1 W1 plus N2 W2 plus N3 W3. Is it right? Here also N1, N2, N3 are the shape functions only. Same type of shape functions we will get. Why? Because shape functions, it represents the geometry of an element indirectly. That's why for radial and axial direction there is no separate shape functions. We will get the same type of shape functions only. Whatever the shape functions we use it in the radial directions, definitely we will get the same shape functions in axial direction also. So here that shape functions N1 is equal to alpha 1 plus beta 1R plus gamma 1Z by 2A. N2 is equal to alpha 2 plus beta 2R plus gamma 2Z by 2A. N3 is equal to alpha 3 plus beta 3R plus gamma 3Z by 2A. We will get these particular shape functions, and we derived that particular displacement equations also. Okay, that is, if you write one a suitable matrix form, that is a delta displacement matrix delta P is equal to UW into N1 01 N2 02 N3 03 0 N1 0 N2 0 N3 into U1 W1 U2 W2 U3 W3. Okay, this is a simplified matrix from delta displacement matrix. Okay, these are all the shape functions. Now I will move to the next topic. So here stress strain relationship matrix or constitutive matrix. Already we derived the for two-dimensional element in first unit itself for a triangular elements or a three-dimensional element also. That is the same relation we used in the third unit also. For that is a simplex triangle element. Now we have to derive the stress strain relation equation for the axisymmetric element. While we are deriving this particular relation, we have to remember one of the basic thing is the instead of x and y axis, here we taken the r and z. Just you replace it instead of x y, you replace the r and z only. R and Z only. If you replace the R and Z only, now we will get that particular relation. That is epsilon x is equal to, that is actually epsilon x is the normal strain in x direction is equal to sigma x by E. That means normal strain in x direction minus, this is the lateral strain. That is R lateral strain. Okay, that is the lateral strain means strain in x direction due to the y direction force. Already I said while you are deriving the equation in first unit itself. Remember mu That is Poisson's ratio mu is equal to, what is the relation? Lateral strain by linear strain. Is it right? So here lateral strain is equal to, what is that one? Poisson's ratio into linear strain. So here Poisson's ratio into linear strain is nothing but a sigma y by E in y direction. This is the linear strain. Is it right? Or longitudinal strain. Strain in that direction. ఇంకా చెప్పాలంటే strain in that direction, y direction లో. కాకపోతే నువ్వు ఇప్పుడు తీసుకునేది ఏ డైరెక్షన్ లో? x డైరెక్షన్ లో తీసుకుంటున్నావు. కంపల్సరీ మైనస్ సైన్ వచ్చేస్తుంది. ఓకేనా? అది అదే విధంగా మైనస్ మ్యూ ఇంటూ సిగ్మా జెడ్ బై ఈ. So sigma epsilon y is equal to minus mu into sigma x by e plus sigma y by e minus mu into sigma z by e. Epsilon z is equal to this one. Gamma xz is equal to 2 into 1 plus mu by e into tau xz. Okay, these are all the strain relations in xy plane. Now we will take in rz plane, including the circumferential. Okay, epsilon r is equal to sigma r by e minus mu sigma theta by e minus mu sigma z by e. Similarly, epsilon theta is equal to here minus mu sigma r by e plus theta by e minus mu sigma z by e. Epsilon z is equal to minus mu sigma z by e, sigma r by e minus mu sigma theta by e plus sigma z by e. Gamma of rz is equal to 2 into 1 plus mu by e into gamma tau of rz. Now, while you are solving this equation, how we got the stress strain relation in the plane stress condition, in the same manner here also we will get the e by 1 plus mu into 1 minus 2 mu into 1 minus mu 1 minus mu 1 minus mu here 0 0 0 0 0 0 1 minus 2 mu by 2 into epsilon r, epsilon z, epsilon theta, epsilon z, gamma rz. This is the relation we will get if you solve this particular equation. Earlier we solved in the second unit. This derivation is not important. That's why directly I wrote this particular step. Now that is a stress vector sigma is equal to, we got this D matrix into epsilon. Epsilon is nothing but a strain. Earlier we derived this strain relation. D is this is the constitutive matrix. Constitutive matrix or stress strain relationship matrix. As per the Hooke's law, stress is directly proportional to the strain. In between, we will take one Young's modulus elasticity constant. That elasticity relation is here we call as the constitutive matrix or stress strain relationship matrix. That is that constitutive elasticity matrix relation is this one, D matrix. Okay, this is the one of the simplest derivation is there. Next, here we have to discuss the one more thing, strain displacement matrix or gradient matrix. Strain displacement matrix or gradient matrix. That is now we will discuss the strain displacement. Earlier case, while we are discussing the shape functions, the last equation we wrote delta of r theta is equal to u of r comma z into w of r comma z is equal to, that is a displacement in radial direction and axial direction is equal to n1 0 1 n2 0 n3 0 0 n1 0 n2 0 n3 into u1 w1 u2 w2 u3 w3. Okay, this one here if you write in the equation form, u is equal to n1 u1 plus n2 u2 plus n3 u3. In the same manner here w is equal to n1 w1 plus n2 w2 plus n3 w3. That is actually in the last class we discussed the strains. The strains epsilon is equal to epsilon r, epsilon theta, epsilon z, gamma r theta. Strain in radial direction, strain in circumferential direction, strain in axial direction, shear strain in rz plane. That is radial direction is equal to, we derived that relation as the dou u by dou r. Circumferentially we derived u by r. Axial direction dou w by dou z. Shear strain direction dou u by dou z plus dou w by dou r. That is now here dou u by dou r. This is the u is equal to this equation. That's why I will write that is the u is u1 is the constant. u1, u2, u3 are the displacement. w1, w2, w3 are the constant. Only variables are the shape functions n1, n2, n3. That's why dou n1 by dou r into u1 plus dou n2 by dou r into u2 plus dou n3 by dou r into u3. U by r, n1 by r into u1 plus n2 by r into u2 plus n3 by r into u3. So here dou w by dou z, axial direction, dou n1 by dou z into w1 plus dou n2 by dou z into w2 plus dou n3 by dou z into w3. In the same manner, shear direction, dou n1 by dou z into u1 plus dou n2 by dou z into w2 plus plus n dou n1 by dou z into here u u3 plus dou n1 by dou r into w1 plus dou n2 by dou r into n2 plus dou n3 by dou r into w3. Okay, now here if you write enter this equation in the form of matrix once again with proper relation, that is u1 u2 u3s are there. Here u1 u2 u3 w1 w2 w3, here u1 u2 u3 w1 w2 w3. That things displacement values I will write in the form of a matrix. That is dou n1 by dou r 0, dou n2 by dou r 0, dou n3 by dou r 0 into u1 w1 u2 w2 u3 w3. That is you multiply this row into this column, you will get this equation. Is it right? The first term into u1 dou n1 by dou r into u1, but second term is the 0 w, there is no w here, 0, automatically 0 is there. Like that I wrote this entire equation, n1 by r1 plus r plus n2 by r plus n3 0 plus n3 by r 0. Here 0 dou n1 by dou z, 0 dou n2 by dou z, 0 dou n3 by dou z. Here dou n1 by dou z, dou n1 by dou r, dou n2 by dou r, dou n2 by dou z, dou n3 by dou z, dou n3 by dou r, and so on. Okay, we got this particular relation. Now actually what is this particular dou n1? Actually n1 is equal to, in the first class we derived the shape function, n1 is equal to alpha 1 plus beta 1 r plus gamma 1 z by 2a. Dou n1 by dou r is equal to, here dou n1 by dou r, this is the constant, this is the entire term becomes constant, remaining this one only, b1 by 2a r. Similarly, dou n1 by dou z is equal to gamma 1 by 2a. Dou n2 by dou r is equal to beta 2 by 2a. Dou n2 by dou z is equal to gamma 2 by 2a. Dou n3 by dou z is equal to, dou r is equal to beta 3 by 2a. Dou n3 by dou z is equal to gamma 3 by 2a. Substitute all these above relations in the equation, in the below equation. And that is if you substitute entire relations, here epsilon r, epsilon theta, epsilon z, gamma of rz is equal to 1 by 2a, beta 1 0, beta 2 0, beta 3 0, alpha 1 plus beta 1 r plus gamma 1 z by r 0, alpha 2 plus beta 2 r plus gamma 2 z by r 0, alpha 3 plus beta 3 r plus gamma 3 z by r 0, 0 gamma 1, 0 gamma 2, 0 gamma 3, gamma 1 beta 1, gamma 2 beta 2, gamma 3 beta 3. Okay, here now we write strain into b into delta, b into delta. This b matrix we call as the gradient matrix. We call this one as the gradient matrix. Okay, this is the gradient matrix. Now that is alpha 1 is equal to, in this particular equation we have to remember alpha 1 is equal to, earlier we derived that relation r2 z3 minus r3 z2, and beta 1 is equal to z2 minus z3, gamma 1 is equal to r3 minus r2, and so on. And r is equal to r1 plus r2 plus r3 by 3. Z is equal to z1 plus z2 plus z3 by 3. That is this element is rotating about an axis with a certain radial direction. That's why if you take that radius r is equal to r1 plus r2 plus r3 by 3. In the same manner, z also we have to consider in axial direction, z also z1 plus z2 plus z3 by 3. In the same manner, stress displacement relation, as per the Hooke's law, we write sigma is equal to d into epsilon. D into epsilon. Epsilon is nothing but a, just now we derived, b into delta, gradient matrix into displacement matrix. Okay, by using this relation, we will calculate the induced stresses in our axisymmetric element. Now, one more important small derivation is there, that is the stiffness matrix for the axisymmetric triangle element. From the first unit itself, we derived the stiffness matrix relation. K is equal to either potential energy method. Here, we derived that one is the integral of B transpose D into B into dV. B transpose, that is here D is the stress strain relationship matrix or constitutive matrix. B is the gradient matrix. That is definitely our difference function is the B transpose into D into B into dV. dV is the volume. Integral of dV is equal to B. B transpose D into B into volume is there. B transpose D into B into volume is nothing but a, suppose this element is rotating with a distance of r distance from the central axis. So circumferentially we are rotating. That's why 2 pi r into A. That's why 2 pi r into A, B transpose D into B. Where r, what is the r? It is the distance from the z axis to the center of the element. That's why r is equal to r1 plus r2 plus r3 by 3. I think you know the A value also. A is equal to 1 by 2 determinant of 1 r1 z1, 1 r2 z2, 1 r3 z3. Like that, by using these relations here, last class and this class, whatever the equations we derive, by using these relations, we will solve the sum of the problems in axisymmetric type of elements. Okay, now I will stop my class. I will continue my class in next class. If you have any doubts, please ask me the doubts also. I will clarify. ఓకే. ఇన్ దిస్ క్లాస్, ఈ క్లాస్లో చెప్పాలంటే మనం సింపుల్గా మనం ఏమేమి నేర్చుకున్నామయ్యా అని అంటే ఓవరాల్గా స్ట్రెస్ స్ట్రెయిన్ రిలేషన్స్ బుక్స్ లా ప్రకారం నేర్చుకున్నాము. ఈ గ్రేడియంట్ మ్యాట్రిక్స్ డిరైవ్ చేసుకున్నాము యాక్సిమెట్రిక్ ఎలిమెంట్కి. ఓకేనా? నువ్వు ఒక విషయం ఇంకొక విషయం నువ్వు సింపుల్గా గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాలంటే లాస్ట్ యూనిట్లో ట్రాంగులర్ ఎలిమెంట్లో బీటా 1 0 2 బీటా 1 0 బీటా 2 0 బీటా 3 0 అని చెప్పి రాసుంటావు. 0 గామా ఈ రో ఉండదు. కాకపోతే ఇక్కడ సర్కంఫరెన్షియల్ తీసుకున్నాం కాబట్టి అడిషనల్ గా ఇదొక రో కూడా నువ్వు కన్సిడర్ చేయాల్సిన అవసరం ఉంది. ఇదొక్కటే బేసిక్ గా డిఫరెన్స్ వస్తుంది, కానీ మిగతాదంతా దాదాపు ఇంతకుముందు యూనిట్లో మనం డిస్కస్ చేసిన లాగే వస్తుంది. ఇంతకుముందు డెరివేషన్ ఎలా చేసామో అలాగే చేసుకున్నాము. కొంచెం ఈ రెండు టాపిక్లు మీరు పక్క పక్కన పెడితే చదవటానికి కానీ అర్థం చేసుకోవడానికి కూడా కొంచెం ఈజీ అవుతుంది. పెద్ద కాంప్లికేటెడ్ ఏం కాదు. మీకు ఏమన్నా డౌట్స్ ఉంటే కొంచెం వాటిని గుర్తుపెట్టుకుని అడిగితే అంతగా మీకు అర్థమైన కాని టాపిక్స్ ఒకసారి తీసుకోవటం కానీ చెప్పడం కానీ జరుగుతుంది. ఓకేనండి, థ్యాంక్ యూ.